Hello, everyone. I have another TBR for you today. This one is specifically genre. It's this one is genre specific. We're gonna pretend I said that the first time. Um, I have a lot of books. Clearly, I have a lot of books. I have multiple TBRs all the time. I have the YA and middle grade books that I really want to read. I have all of the popular books that I'm like, wow, I haven't read that one yet, and that one was popular 5 years ago. Um, as you can see, I have a problem. This problem is easily fixed. Well, easily fixed. It would be easily fixed by actually sitting down and reading, but what's more fun than sitting down and reading, I ask you? Making another list of books that I want to read and that I may or may not ever actually get to. So, I have my Suspense TBR list right now. There's a few books on here who have been on this list for years. They just have. I'm not a fast reader. I'm actually to the point where I'm not even going to set a reading challenge higher than maybe 2 books on Goodreads this coming year for like 2021. Actually, no, I'm not going to set a challenge at all. Because then if I do read anything, it'll be an accomplishment rather than oh man, I didn't measure up again. So that's the new plan, and I need you to I need you to help me stick to that and hold me to that plan. Anyway, here are the books that are on my suspense TBR because as a suspense writer, I have a lot of books that I want to read. As a reader, I have a lot of books that I want to read, but as a suspense writer, I have specifically suspense books that I want to read. Granted, if you only ever read one genre, it becomes overwhelming, and so I am going to intersperse this with other books, but they will not be featured in this video. Go find some of my other videos to figure out what other books I want to be reading. We're going to start with the books that I own, and then go down to the books that I am currently loaning from the library and have had since February that I haven't read yet. Because that's COVID mood. Starting with The Pond by Stephen James. I need to read this book because everything else that I've ever read or heard stories told by Stephen James has been so good. I just haven't. It's the beginning of like a 16-book series, okay? That's a commitment, and I'm not ready for that commitment yet. But it's current, and I need to read it. Next up, we have The Raven. I actually talked about this one in a different video pretty recently, so I'm not going to linger on it too long. But this is book 2 in the series following Coffee and Hill. They're 2 agents who investigated the Annabelle Lee case, which is this book. I read this one last year, really enjoyed it. It's by my favorite author. This is the second book in the series, and then this book, A Dream Within a Dream, is the third in the series, and it just came out this year, and he sent me a thank you note with a signed book plate, and the note reads, "Thanks for being my #1 fan." I screamed, okay? Suffice it to say, I screamed. I also have not committed to actually putting the signed book plate into the book yet. Maybe I'm just weird, but I just am keeping the entire thing in the book. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Yeah. Next up, we have the books that I have from the library. This one, actually, funny story, I started listening to this book on audio, so I have actually started this book. Vaguely sort of know what it's about. I don't know how far I got, though, because it was an audiobook and I was listening on my way to work every once in a while and on my way home. Turns out my commute is not consistently long enough for me to get good chunks of listening in, which is kind of sad, but that's okay. Anyway, interesting book that I heard of it. I'll probably will start at the beginning again because that seems to be easier than trying to figure out wherever I left off. But this one's from the library. I've had it since February and I haven't read it yet, technically. So, I look forward to it. It's on the list. Dead Woman Walking by the same author. Again, on the list. This one I don't know. I don't remember what it's about. I looked at it last in February, so I guess we'll see if... I don't know, man. But it's on the list. I want to read it, and I ought to read it before the library does eventually make me return it. They haven't made me return most of these books yet. Like I said, I've literally had them since February. You can go look at my TBR or my library book haul video and see that I've literally had this book since February. Next, Where It Hurts. This one I'm actually currently reading. Didn't get very far, but I did remember that I enjoyed it. It sucked me in more than any other book recently has, which is a feat. So I intend on finishing it. But Where It Hurts, sorry, that's on the list too. And lastly, Harlan Coben, Fool Me Once. I have been saving this one because the last book that I read by Harlan Coben, Runaway, I literally had to stop everything else that I was doing so I could just finish it because it was so good. So I'm hoping that this one will have the same effect on me because now I already trust this author. Not to the point where I'm like ready to just buy everything that he's ever written, but like he gave me a good book at least once, and he has a lot of books out. So I'm assuming that means all of his books are at least up to the same level as the one that gave me that thrill ride the first time. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the list. That's all of it. I have more. I have so many more books, like most of this entire shelf. This one, and a lot of that one. That's all just suspense novels. I will read this entire bookshelf at some point in my life. If you go back and you look at my bookshelf tour videos, I go through which books I've read and which ones I haven't read, shelf by shelf. So that's fun. But that's my current suspense TBR. We'll see when I get to any of them. I'm hoping I don't have to try to get some of them from the library a second time because that feels complicated. But yeah. Anyway, there it is. That's my TBR. And until next time, I will see you then. Keep reading. Keep having fun. Tell me what books you're reading. Tell me what books are on your TBR that you want to read, even if you don't know when you'll get to them, because obviously TBRs exist if for no other reason than to just collect more books. And an incorporeal isn't quite the right word there, but it fits, I guess. If a book's body is its physical form, putting them on a TBR is collecting them without actually collecting them. Maybe that's why my TBR list is always so long. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you then. Like, subscribe, go look at a few of my other videos, and I will see you next time. Bye!